Hey Mustangs, this is Mr. Hart, and I am your 8th grade Winning Colors math teacher and team leader. And I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes on what to expect while we're in this virtual school, this NTI, just so everybody is on the same page and they know how our class is going to be organized. So first of all, Google Classroom is going to be the most important tool that we use. It's kind of our one-stop shop, to say. Everything, all announcements, all assignments, all quizzes, everything is going to be streamlined through Google Classroom. So it is very important that you know how to check Google Classroom and that you check it regularly. I would recommend, if you have a way to turn on notifications for your Google Classroom, whether it's through email or a tablet or a phone or some type of device, that you would do that. And if not, I would definitely strongly recommend you checking it once or twice a day, just to kind of make sure that nothing has been posted that's important for you to need to know. This is kind of how our typical unit is going to work. And when I say unit, I'm talking about a standard or a topic that we're going to be looking at. So depending on how extensive the unit is, it might last 2 weeks, it might last 3, it could last 4. It just kind of depends. But what we'll do, we'll pick out a few learning targets and we will introduce those learning targets through some type of collaborative assignment. We've used Jamboard in the past, which I really enjoy, and I think the students do as well. And what that is, that's just a way for me to kind of give instruction, but also allows them to participate a little bit, ask any questions they might have, and it's just kind of a way for us to look through the material, look through the content together. After that, I'm going to assign what I call a virtual notebook. And what that virtual notebook is going to be, the way it's laid out is there are going to be notes and there are going to be guided problems that kind of show you. They just basically go over what we did during our collaborative lesson whenever we introduced it. But it's just something for the students to refer back to almost as their notes. And then underneath kind of each section or each learning target, there are going to be a series of practice problems. What I want students to do is I want them to try those practice problems on their own, ideally. That way, it's kind of like homework in a way. And then what we'll do whenever we meet for live class, so we meet twice a week, either on Mondays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Fridays, depending on which class you are. And then what we'll do in that next class is we will go over those practice problems. I'll first ask if anybody has any questions, and we'll address those first. And then from there, I'll have a couple problems or a couple topics that I want to make sure that we go over and consider. And then that way, we're just kind of all on the same page. That is going to be your homework / classwork, your independent work. And even though we'll go over it together, and on sometimes we might do a lot of it together in class. But that is your assignment that students are responsible to turn in and submit. Then there will also be a quiz at the end of every unit. That quiz, it is very important that you turn it in. The way we're going to do quizzes, there are going to be 2 quizzes. There's going to be the original quiz, and then there's going to be a redo quiz. The original quiz is mandatory. You must take that, and that is going to be your quiz grade. But then we also have a redo. The redo will be optional. If you take the quiz and you were not satisfied with your score, you can take the redo to try to improve it. The redo cannot hurt you. It can only benefit you. So, if you only take the first quiz, whatever you get, that's your grade. But if you take both of the quizzes, I'm going to keep the highest grade that you have. So, for instance, if you take the first quiz and you get an 80%, and you're not satisfied with it, and you decide to take the redo. If you take the redo and you get a 90%, I just act like the 80 never happened. You are going to keep that 90, so you just have one score. But let's say you take the 80 and you're not satisfied with it and you take the redo. But let's say on the redo you do worse. Let's say you get a 70%. I'm just going to act like you never did the redo, and I'm going to keep that 80. So I encourage all of the students to do the redo, because there's no negative side to it. But, if you decide not to, that's okay. That's fine. I do need you to take the first quiz. And then students that are struggling or students whose grades are not up to where they would like for them to be, I'll always obviously work with those students. I will give extra credit assignments or opportunities, but I'm going to wait until the end of the grading period to allow that extra credit, just because I want students to know where they're at and how much the extra credit could help them. So we'll kind of wait for that towards the end of the grading period as an additional assignment, just to kind of benefit their grade. But just like any extra credit, if you have not done the previous assignments, the extra credit doesn't really help you because it's not extra at that point. So extra credit is only beneficial if you've done everything else. If you haven't done everything else, then that extra assignment doesn't help you because you need to go back and do that other stuff to make up for it. And then my last thing that I just want to make sure we're all clear on is how important it is to come to live classes. The live classes are very important because no matter how much you think you understand the material, that is the best form of communication, and that's when I feel like I am the clearest, is when I'm talking to the students, and then whenever they have the opportunity to ask me questions for clarification or whatever. So please try to make the live classes as much as you can, and hopefully we're not doing this too much longer. But as we all know, 2020, there's no telling how much longer we'll do this. So we're all in this together, and we'll just keep trying our best. If you all ever have any questions or any concerns or any problems or just anything at all, please give me an email, or you can send me a comment through Google Classroom, whether it's a private comment or a comment for the class to see. And if you need anything, I'm here. And I appreciate everybody trying their best during this difficult time. And we'll do this together and we'll all be good. So thank you all for watching this. And if you need anything, let me know. Thank you.